Let's go! Welcome to the Underground Crypto Deep Dive Show, where we come daily, talk about topics that actually raise your crypto IQ. Can you believe it? It's been a fun week and a fun series. It's Wednesday night. Viewership a little shaky sometimes, so pat yourself on the back if you are here on a Wednesday night. I appreciate you greatly. The stream is nothing without the people who watch the stream. That really goes without saying. All right, I'm in the camera. Good stuff, good stuff. Look at this little bounce we had today. It was pretty nice. I mean, you went from, I don't know if all of this was today for sure. These are 4-hour candles, right? But you had a low down here of about 50,850, right? All the way up to 61,300. I'm rounding a little bit, right? And we pull back to the 21. And it looks like we're chilling at about 59,900, almost basically 60,000 even. Look at that. It was a nice little bounce. Who's all with me? Who's in the chat? How are you doing? How you feeling on a Wednesday? You still love crypto even though we've been in a bear market? Let me know in the chat. Struggle Heart in the house. Always do a bit of a roll call. Appreciate your constant support, Struggle Heart. MVP points to you. Melissa, of course, best mod in the game. I appreciate you greatly. Prime Minister says hello. What's up, Prime Minister? I appreciate you being here. The cat you have over there is messing with the cables. Probably. Matter of fact, I just realized my dog is in here, and I never let my dog in here when I'm streaming. So hopefully that goes well and the dog doesn't start whining and crying, or I'll have to get up and let the dog out, and that could be catastrophic for the stream. I'm just kidding. Let's get on into it. Ooh, Double O Zoe in the house, one of the many names that I love to see come through the chat. This week in our series, we're talking about crypto fact or fiction, right? We're trying to separate some of the things they say online from what is legitimate. And the whole point... Why do I feel like my microphone just went out? Okay, no, it did not. Computer's making weird noises here, like it does when my microphone usually goes out. Excuse me. Anyways, I was saying fact or fiction, right? That is the series of the week. We started Monday with XLM. Tuesday, we broke down XRP. It was a really good stream. Tuesday did about 3 times the people who came through the stream as normal. So that was a success, and we got to break down some of the narratives around XRP for those who don't know. I appreciate you, Melissa. Yeah, there's a certain noise my computer always makes when ever my microphone is reset, and it was making it. So tonight we're going to be talking about one of the biggest myth engines behind both of those narratives, and that is the ISO 20022. And if you spend any time in crypto social media, especially if you've been here for a while, you've probably seen people talk about the ISO 20022 coins. It's a messaging system. We've gone over it. Hopefully you're not brand new here. Hopefully you've been here with a while. But if you have just started to tune in, smash that like button, and we have lots of information and lots of weekly series to raise that crypto IQ. XRP is ISO compliant. XLM is also ISO compliant. HBAR, XDC, Algorand, Quant. These are all technically ISO coins. Banks will have to use them. They are officially chosen. This proves the future price target. But tonight, we're going to slow down and ask better questions than those shock hype questions, right? Like, here's one a lot of people never think of. What is ISO 20022 actually? Now, we touched on the fact that it's a messaging system. Melissa's new. Well, welcome in. I appreciate you being part of this community. How did you become a mod so quickly? And what does it actually prove to be ISO compliant, right? And remember, there is no certified stamp given by any foundation or board to any coin for being like quote unquote ISO compliant. But the online crypto version of the story often goes way beyond the evidence. Talked about it a lot, both yesterday and Monday. So tonight's topic is the ISO 20022 crypto myth. Welcome in. Now, I really wanted to kind of move from the 4-hour to the hour since we got a little bit of positive action here. And not quite the setup that we're looking for, but it's getting there, right? We're looking for price action above the 200-day moving average, especially on a nice time frame like the 1 hour. We might have it on the 15 with a touch to the 21, a flagging out, basically staying above the 200 touching the 21 or somewhere very, very, very close. And then we're looking for the move on out of here. So let's move down to the 15, where yes, you do have it technically right now. I personally not getting overexcited. I'm not really looking to trade perpetuals right now. In my experience, it's a lot better for me, never financial advice, to build some spot bags in this time, probably until at least October, November, even December. Probably going to be building spot bags, and that'll be kind of my focus. And then I can play around with some other things when it seems like the great prices are maybe not around anymore, right? But it'll be a while before any top of any market. Melissa says, thank you. I hope to learn a lot here. Hey, we got you. You're in the right place if you want to raise that crypto IQ. So here's kind of something I'm looking at on the 15. Again, I'm not trading perpetuals, so I'm not staking anything monumental on it. Matter of fact, I'd kind of like to get rid of these lines because I don't want to look at them. But you got the idea, kind of falling wedge style. Or falling channel, I should say, not a falling wedge. And then I'm kind of getting these vibes here on the 4 hour, like shoulder, shoulder, head, maybe shoulder, shoulder, like a complex inverted head and shoulder to dig us out of here, which also is your rounded bottom, which usually also gives you a rounded bottom and some kind of handle, cup and handle. They are all mini patterns of the same idea a lot of the time. All right, let's go to our quote of the day. And that is, the beginning of wisdom is the definition of terms. Anybody know who said that? The beginning of wisdom is the definition of terms. It was Socrates. And again, I guess it's, we're believing that he said that, I guess. What you may not know, as we kick off the stream here, is ISO 20022 itself says cryptocurrencies are not inherently ISO 20022 compliant. That crypto assets are not managed or registered by the ISO 20022. And that ISO 20022 is a global standard for financial messaging that provides a common language and structure for exchanging financial information. This is about standardizing the banking system globally. That matters because the internet often talks of ISO 20022 coins like there is an official list of approved crypto winners, and there is not, right? But ISO 20022 is not a coin list. It's not a secret banking coin list, right? Token list. It is not even a price prediction model. It is not a guarantee that banks will have to buy any of these coins, XRP, XLM, HBAR, XDC, Algorand, or any other tokens that are technically ISO 20022. And I know you're going to be tired of hearing me say it, and I'll also be very much tired of saying ISO 20022. Let's see. LO00 Zo says Reliable J. Where's he at? Is Reliable J here? I don't think so. It's been a little while since I've seen him here. The real story is more specific, though. ISO, and I'm going to say that as much as I can over the whole ISO 20022. We know that ISO, that's what it is, right? Is about structured financial messaging. Crypto projects may build systems that can interact with ISO 20022 style payment infrastructure, but that is not the same thing as a coin being like officially chosen or getting like a stamp of approval or a certification from like an industry or a foundation or something like that. Let's move over to the crypto bubbles. You guys thought Meme Core couldn't do it, but I had faith. I had faith in my Meme Core, and I might eat those words later this week. All right, so let's be fair. Lab down 32.8% as I redirect you away from Meme Core. $9.15. All I know is every time it does this, it pops right back up. So I'm almost like, I should probably buy some of this, right? And make a quick flip. But at the same time, I'm not really into that. If I bought some, it'd probably be to stack a bag over long term and see if we can get some really good price action out of this thing. I mean, what? It's been as high as $20-something. Here it says it's only been as high as like $18.90 something. So let's call it $19, right? Very interesting. Let's go into the 1 week here. And yeah, We've been as high as 20 and now we're at $9.13. Man, if this thing goes to like $7-8, I'll have to scoop some. But even right now is probably a really good time to scoop some. And again, if you bounce to more like the month, you'll see it's done this and recovered. I mean, here you could have bought it at $7.29 and, you know, got rid of it somewhere in the like $18, $19, $17 region if you saw this big head and shoulders that it was making, right? And this is Crypto Bubbles if you're new here. Calling him in my head. There you go. Everybody think of Reliable J, and he will show up, I'm sure. And Blues Guy. Think of them too, and they'll show up. And Camsta. Where the heck is Camsta? All right. So, MemeCore. Let's talk about that. Probably biggest green bubble in the top 100. It went as high as $1.31. It was as low as 71 cents. All today. Let's go to the weekly. The ultimate low here in the week was 52 cents, which I'm thinking is probably the local low altogether. Yeah, about 55 cents, 52 cents. And man, does it have a lot to recover if it's going to recover. But is it super undervalued? It to me seems like one big whale sold a lot because this drop was like one action here. Was it on perpetuals? I don't know. Were they trying to liquidate somebody? Those are all questions that could be investigated, but they might not really be worth our time. The bottom line to me about MemeCore is that there's no major news of a hack, of an exploit, of anything of this nature that I feel like we should be particularly worried about. No FUD, if you will. Jupiter up 10%. Litecoin up 10%. Morpho 8.9%, call it 9%. Wildcoin down 10%, or WorldCoin. I always want to call this Wildcoin. It's WorldCoin. Down 10%. Velvet down 6.5%, and Velvet has just been on a crazy tear. It's up, 2,444% in the year. In the month, it's up 1,500%. In the week, it's up more like 200%. Still very nice. Is it just consolidating? Is there going to be a dump? Should we look for a Fibonacci retracement? These are all things that we can visit a little later in the show. If anybody has any questions out there, I tell you, utilize the fact that this is a small channel and I have the time to give attention to people in the chat where, who knows, if things start heating up, we do another year of this show into the bull market, I might not have time to be able to really sit in the chat and answer everybody's questions. So, you know what they say. You don't know what you got till it's gone. Go to some big channels like The Lifer, who, by the way, The Lifer does an amazing job of reading his chat and filtering what's worth looking at, but a lot of them do not, and you would never get their attention without a super chat. Even then, you might not get their attention. I digress. Struggle Heart says, if you don't have it, it pumps. Man, is it easy to feel like that is true. It is so easy to feel like it. The Thai Stew says, what's good? Welcome back, man. I really appreciate you coming back to the show. He said he would, and he did. So he's a man of his word. I like that. It says, thanks for streaming, bro. LFG, which means let's effing go. I love the energy. Thank you for being here. And if you haven't already, you might have. There's a link to the Discord. It's a free Discord right now where we all hang out when we're not streaming. You can answer questions, DM me, whatever. Have a little bit more access to the community and myself. 1 through 1,000, all looking pretty green today. Let's see. 007 Zoe says, what's up with MemeCore? I don't really have any news with MemeCore other than it looks like a big whale sold out. Or somebody with a lot of bags. It was like one straight down price action. I mean, it dropped from about $2.80 to like, I think about 80 cents. It dropped like $2 in like a snap of a finger, right? But there was no FUD. There was no negative news. We even went to ChatGPT and tried to find some kind of relevant. I couldn't find anything like an exploit. They got hacked, like some kind of FUD, right? A little repetitive there. But anyways, you catch my point. And now it's starting to recover. So maybe it'll fully recover or maybe it'll have a little relief pump before it dumps lower. I don't really know. I bought some around $1.13 and we're chilling at like $1.15. So I'm like, I'm in a good spot right this second. And it was only $100, so I'm not stressing here. So anyways, I love to see all this green. Look at this 200 to 300 up 5%. Like, it's very rare that we get a 5%. Because this is averaged across 100 crypto, right? So you have some down, some up. To get 5% is pretty rare. Let's drop down to 100 to 200, right? We usually only go to about 300 by market cap. As we kick this thing off, TAC, which we've talked a lot about. TAC brings Ethereum virtual machine compatibility to decentralized applications to the Telegram ecosystem. I hope you follow that. If that didn't make sense to you, you probably need to raise your crypto IQ and smash the like button and subscribe and join the Discord and get in here and let us help you become a better speculator in the market. But we never get financial advice. This is education. Anyways, this TAC is down 37%, although it's had a decent pump over the month. It's up like 122%. Only in crypto where we're like 122%. It's okay, I guess. But if you look at it, it's 122% for where it is right now at about 0.038, which is almost 4 cents. Mind you, it's been as high as about 6 cents, almost 6.5 cents. So it was up much higher. Anyways, I digress. Let's keep moving on. RIF, Root Stock Infrastructure Framework. I'm going to have to take a look at this thing a little bit closer. It sounds like something very like institutional and techie or something. We've touched on it a couple of times. I must not have done that great of a job, to be honest with you. I can admit that because I don't really remember what the heck this thing is. So I'd like to deep dive it when we see it in the what's trending later on. BTW up 11, Cato, a lot of things up a good 10, 14, 15% here. Monad up 8.7%. Shout out to Melissa, one of her favorite coins. Or at least we always attribute it to her. It might not actually be her favorite coin. DYDX down 26.3% today. So today it had a high of about 23.8, so almost 24 cents, and it is now at like 13. So if you shorted DYDX, you're doing great. I hold a little bit, so I don't actually love to see it down so much. But this is crypto. Here we are. Takio, and we've talked about this coin. It just major pumped. I don't know what that's about. Getting some pretty wild pumps out here for bottom of the bear markets type stuff. Just shows you that there's always opportunity in the market. 007 Zoe says, I should just call you Zoe, but it's just too much fun to say the whole thing there. Sol did good today. Hey, we're going to go do our price rundown in a minute, so I'll be glad to see what Sol has done in the last 24 hours. Takio, I'm sure this will be in our What's Trending. It's just the next segment in the show, and we will definitely take a look at it. But it went as high as 58 cents. It's chilling at about 49.5 cents. It's up 476%. It's crushing it. It makes anything else doing well in this category look small. Fluid, 16%. Meteora, which is a decentralized exchange in Solana. YFI is one I just want to point out for the tokenomics, right? I don't know how well it shows the tokenomics. We can always just quickly go to CoinGecko real quick. Real quick. This thing is worth so much because it only has 36,666 coins. I don't know who came up with that number. Seems devious. And there's only 35,815 in circulating supply. Probably one of the lowest supply of coins I've ever seen. But that's why it's like $1,700. I'm sure somebody out there knows what YFI is. Yearn.finance. As it's not a new coin. And then again, we're keeping an eye here on this O1.exchange. I believe that's a O, not a 0. O1.exchange. It's a new exchange. Decentralized exchange. And it's been doing pretty good price-wise. Let's see. And yeah, that was our 5% there. Let's move along. Let's take a look at what is trending and do our price rundown. It's one of those days I'm amped up. Just came fresh from the gym. I have way too much energy. It's that pre-workout and caffeine. Tell you that much. Bitcoin BTC at $59,716. Sometimes I feel like I talk so fast I sound like one of those old school auction people. Going once, going twice. Sold. All right, 2.15 trillion in market cap. Up 1.8%. I'll take it. Anything green and up on the overall market cap right now, take that. So again, BTC 59,716. Ethereum $1,600. BNB $547. Still red, all three of those on the 7-day, even if it's just barely. XRP $1.04. It went down a penny from yesterday, but 007 Zoe, he did not lie. Solana's had a pretty good day. It's up 5.2% on the 24-hour, up 13.8% in the last 7 days at $77. Probably a lot of people thought they were going to get this a little bit lower, But then there were a lot of people who were just looking at the price of it and they were like, I gotta buy some more of this. I gotta scoop some more of this at this price. Anyways, Hyperliquid, $62.19. Now, we don't talk about this one a lot. It's number 9 by market cap. Is this figure HELOC? It's HELOC loans, right? It's an interesting use case for crypto, but because it's kind of such a niche specific thing, we don't ever really talk about it. But it has 19.9, almost $20 billion in its market cap. So it's worth mentioning, although I'm not going to like read the price of it every day. But it is very interesting that that is in there. And it's just like a real application of blockchain technology use case that's just hanging out amongst Tron and Solana and Hyperliquid and Dogecoin. Not to take anything away from them. Chris Goss in the house says 333, my fellow lifer, Giver's Gain. And as we're talking about Giver's Gain, not to seem like a shill, but we do have a 5 super chat goal. You can send a super chat for $2. Come on, guys. I'd love to hit that on a Wednesday. That would be insane because Wednesday's a little bit slower usually. Dogecoin, 7 cents. Zcash, $412. XLM, 19 cents. Whitebit coin, which is a exchange coin, right? It's the coin of an exchange. And it's here, number 17 by market cap, 6.4 billion. It's actually really interesting because you don't see like Mexi Global's coin up here or something like that, so it's worth mentioning. XMR, $306. Cardano back up to 15 cents, almost up 4% in the last 7 days. Chainlink, $7.33. Canton Network, one that looks like it might be in a good place to kind of scoop. Maybe we'll get lucky and it'll, drop a couple more pennies here. It's 14 cents. Bitcoin Cash has been doing well. Anybody have that on their bingo card? $212, up 10% in the last 7 days. Graham, your favorite coin that you know all about. I mean Toncoin. $1.56. I don't know if I hate when we do these changes. It's like when they changed X to Twitter, and it's just like, what are we doing? What do we call it? I like X better. I never liked Twitter as a name, but like was so used to it. You get what I'm saying. Oh, Double O Zo, man, holding it down. I appreciate you. Says, yeah, I got you, bro, 100%. That's much respect. I really appreciate that big time. Throwing in a super chat. Hey, we got the first one of the night. Can we hit our 5 super chat goal on a Wednesday? That would be amazing. Says, I own a little bag of Bitcoin Cash. I used to. I had some. It ran up. I sold it a while ago, quite some time ago, when I was consolidating coins. I was just up quite a bit on it, and never looked back. Never was like, I can't wait to buy back in at the bottom. Not for Bitcoin Cash for me. Maybe for you. You do what you want with your money. Litecoin, $42.50. By the way, I can't say it enough. Thank you very much for the super chat. It means the world to me. Litecoin, $42.50 here. I know a lot of people, I think it was Hate CCP, who comes to the stream quite a bit, said that she bought a bunch of Litecoin at one point. I believe it's a she. Hopefully I'm right. I don't know. Those are dangerous territories. I should just say their name and not go there. All right, HBAR, 0.077 cents. SWE, 71 cents. Like to see SWE getting a little bit of action. It's been sitting at like 68, 69 cents for a while. Lab, $9.12. We covered that. Avalanche, I don't even know if Avalanche is really even worth saying the price every day. So today might be the last day I bother to tell you the price of Avalanche. $6.63. And it's even up 3.4%, 2% in the last 24 hours. And I just don't even know if we really should talk about it. BitTensor, $200. We're going to go ahead and move along. That's about as far as I usually go. It really, in my opinion, helps me keep a pulse on the market to do a quick rundown of all the prices. I like the top 30, even though we don't name, we're not talking about what is USDT's price every day. Here we go. Tokyo is absolutely number 1. We're going to take a look at that and really get into it. It's already taken off. I don't know if you really want to buy it now, but it is $47.8 million market cap, which is very small. Grass, which I'm actually a big fan of Grass, okay? I do like that they keep building. I like that they keep dropping stuff from mobile, and they just have a lot of things going on. And I've been using it since way back in the day. What Grass is, if you don't know, is you pay for your internet every month. Hopefully you pay for it. Maybe you're stealing it from your neighbor. What do I know? But either way, you can hook up Grass. Very, very easy user setup, not technical at all. And then it uses like your leftover bandwidth, probably being sold to like AI companies and stuff like that. Resources, they're heavily needed. And then they kick you out points as they're building. And the speculation is at some point we're going to get Grass or something like that for them. Cost you nothing. I've never noticed a slowdown on my computer, and I've never had any security problems. So I'm a big fan of it. It's in the link in the description. And yeah, I think it's really worth looking at. I honestly have a hunch that Grass is going to be the winner out of that space, and that when they really launch the rewards, a lot of people are going to be salty that they didn't actually go along with it. But I could also be completely wrong. Lighter trending, VVV, Venice token. I really want to maybe hit some more bear market vibes and get VVV under $10. We're getting close. I've been saying this when they were up much higher. But even around like $8 would be amazing. I'd scoop a big bag of that. We got the official Trump, Pudgy Penguins, Aave. You know, Aave had some things go wrong, and that really hurt. I think a run that we were supposed to kind of have just didn't really happen because Aave got damaged real early in that run. Somebody who is very knowledgeable about crypto once told me that Aave, when you see it start moving, usually signals the beginning of a nice bull run. Maybe not the bull run, but a nice bull run. And then it just got like shut down with the FUD and the hack or whatever. And anyways, they seem to have put out some positive FUD, if you will, that has got this back on track and got people not thinking about what happened. Hyperliquid, Solana, Pith Network, DYDX is an exchange, right? This thing has done some nice moves in the past. I bought some on Coinbase a long time ago. Like BitBoy was still on top of the crypto YouTube world when I bought some of this coin. Morpho, World Liberty Finance, the Black Bull Ansem. It just doesn't stop. It's up 74,000%. If you look at this percentage on the 7-day and it makes your stomach hurt a little bit because you didn't know about it and you weren't living on pump.fun, I'm with you. I feel you. We can grow closer over how much I hate missing ginormous gains like this. Prime Minister says that he saw it and passed it up. That's even worse. If I was in that situation, my stomach would hurt just looking at it. Axie Infinity. I like Axie Infinity. They have a new game. I think we're going to talk about it DeFi Friday. I really was hoping to jump into it a little bit. Guys, there's just no time for a lot of that. We're going to have to do it on DeFi Friday. It's kind of why I love DeFi Friday, is because that's when I really get to spend some time on some things that I never get time to do any other way. Tokyo's chain state verification mechanism has been compromised. Uh-oh. For more information, kindly refer to this post. I don't know what post this post is, but let's go take a look at it. Let's refer to it. And what is this from? June 21st. And it says, we have confirmed a compromise of Tokyo's chain state verification mechanism. As a result, the security assumptions of all bridges deployed on Tokyo can no longer be relied upon. I tell you, it's always the bridges. We are actively coordinating with Security Council. That sounds super official. Sounds like some Batman stuff, right? Security Council. And ecosystem partners to contain the incident, pause affected systems where possible, and take all necessary technical and legal actions, is what they gotta say. We strongly advise all users to withdraw their funds from all bridges deployed on Tokyo immediately. Further updates will provide as more information becomes available. And then like the next day, somebody's like, does this chain still exist? Pretty funny. All right. Hey, CTP, we were just talking about you. See, that worked. Now, if only Reliable J would just pop in here. So, this should definitely take us back to CoinGecko. There we are. So, why did it get the huge pump today? Has that all been resolved? We'll go back to their Twitter and see if there's something more recent. But that was the post from whatever compromise they had to the verification mechanism, which is a big deal. I don't even know where I got 20 something. 55 million in market cap. Max chart says token generation event, something like June 4th, 2024. Whoa, the misspeaks happening. I'm moving too fast. Gotta slow down. 1 billion max supply tokens here with a circulating supply of 198.2 million. So you could say, what, like 20% vested, right? 20% of the tokens are out. It's probably more like 19.7, but I mean, who's counting? Are you counting at home? Outstanding supply. Now, you won't see this on every coin, but you are going to see it on some coins, right? And what an outstanding supply really means, if you're into your tokenomics, which if you're trying to raise your crypto IQ and become a better speculator in the market, if you're sleeping on tokenomics, I don't know what to tell you. It's going to bite you. Like it's bit me, I only know from experience. Now, outstanding supply means the coins have been minted, right? They're on chain. Where when you have the difference between, say, your circulating supply, and say that this was the actual circulating supply, in your max supply, you can see you got about 44% not out at all. Like they're not even minted. Then you have the ones that are minted and they're just hanging out somewhere, and it shows you right where they are. Grants and Retro PFG has 40 million. The DAO in the Treasury has 226.8 million, and Takio Foundation Reserves has 168.8 million. And that is taken into consideration as an outstanding supply because it's in the supply. But in all honesty, they're not circulating. So it's like a little bit of a weird gray area where you have stuff that's in the supply, but it's not necessarily circulating. It's worth knowing because they can come, once they're already minted and they're chilling in an outstanding supply, they can come into the circulating supply much faster, I would say, than if they were just chilling and they'd never even been minted yet. I hope that did somebody some justice. And that can be applied to any coins, not just Takio. BNB Smart Chain and a Takio chain, it is layer 1 smart contract platform. It's actually a layer 2, but smart contract platform is what I mean by a layer 1. Zero knowledge rollup. So ZK rollup, pretty much the evolution of blockchain privacy and security. But what is it? Like, what is it? Does it say? Rollups. Where's the website? They have a YouTube, but I'm not going to do that to you guys. No, I don't want to subscribe. Thank you. ZK proofs on Takio just got 50% cheaper. Boundless is bringing ZK proofs to Takio with Surge and its latest network release. Surge also adds up to 25% more capacity to the proving market and cuts operator RPC overhead by up to 99%. That seems significant. What this change is for builders on Takio if, and then there's just nothing else. Well done. Well played. Let's see. I really wanted some more information on Takio, but this doesn't seem like the education page here. Oh, here's the actual website. It's because I was in the wrong place. Takio is Ethereum enhanced, they say. It is a layer 2. So do we kind of put this in the same echelons as like Monad? So Takio is base, 1 DAO. I like their website here. 1 token, 1 opportunity to seize everything you ever wanted. Will you let it slip? Oh, my bad. I thought that's where we were going with this. I was going to start rapping. 1 community, Takio. A type 1 general purpose based rollup with no centralized sequencer. So what are we talking about here? To me, it seems like somebody's gonna try, or is trying, I shouldn't say is going to, they did, a new approach to slightly changing up a layer 2. Remember, a layer 2 is rollups. Like, that's what makes you a layer 2. So if you use ZK proof rollups, well, that's zero knowledge technology, and to me, that's moving the ball forward. So we envision a based, fearless, ownerless, and unstoppable ecosystem, easy to write on a website, not so easy to actually do. Our mission is to scale Ethereum while staying true to the principles that made it thrive. No centralized sequencers, no compromise. In the future, Takio won't need leaders, only those driven to change the world 1 block at a time. And they probably tried to do something kind of different, I don't know if it was radically different or just a little bit different. And sometimes that opens yourself up to like problems. Here's their whole roadmap. I don't want to get too far into it. It's governed by the community. That's what a DAO is. Decentralized autonomous organization, if you know your terms. All right. So I feel like we covered Takio. It's good to know what it is when it's up so much. Has it pulled back? I swear it just said it was up like 500%. Let's go to the 24 hours real quick before we move along. We will do our due diligence tonight. Yeah, it's definitely pulling back right now. It's so funny. On here it says it's only up 177. Huh. I guess it depends on when you start counting your 24 hours from, right? Because this was only up 5%. Now it's up 6.5%, the 2 to 300 by market cap region. And this is up even a little bit more to 478%. How do you justify that number? They have it starting at about high 7 cents, 0.078. Let's go to CoinGecko. They have it starting at about 8 cents. Okay, that can make a big difference here. Unless you own it or something, or you're looking to get into it, it honestly doesn't matter that much. What else do we see here? We already went over what was trending here. Pump.fund, Monada. It's actually changed a little bit. Pith Network. Let's move along, because you know Crypto Rank always has a ton of brand new coins that don't even have tokens yet. We got to go over. Fear and Greed Index moving quite a bit. I love that. I miss a lot and then tend to fly. Yeah. That's how it goes. Shout out if you're just coming in. Welcome to the Underground Crypto Deep Dive Show. Smash that like button for me. If you love cryptocurrency and want to raise your crypto IQ, become a better speculator in the market, never financial advice. All right, done with that. Fear and Greed Index. I think the Fear and Greed Index is a great tool for speculation. That's how I use it, and you do what you want to do with your own money. But it is 19, and we moved from 11 to 19, so that's pretty nice. Very interesting. A month ago, we were at 11. 7 days ago, 12. Yesterday, 11. Very kind of flat. And then all of a sudden, boom, we move up to 19. So let's go take a look at what they have trending on Crypto Rank. Yes, we use multiple websites kind of in, conjoined, mashed together with the information they give us to really stay on the pulse here. But before we get into this, because this is a bit of a segment, I want to tell you guys a crypto story about the topic of the night, which is ISO 20022. And if you've been around in crypto, this has been a super hot narrative for a long time. I wanted to revisit it. In our series of the week, because we do a weekly series, is Factor Fiction, if you're just coming in. And so we did XLM on Monday, XRP on Tuesday, today's Wednesday. XLM, XRP have the ISO 20022 narrative. It's still floating around. People who are very XLM or XRP maxi, or that is their whole online presence, because there's people that's all they talk about. This narrative is constant, even if right this moment you're not hearing it outside of those echo chambers, but it will come back. I almost guarantee it. So it's one of the most understood topics in crypto. And the reason it spreads so easily is because it sounds official. It has the ISO in the name. It connects to banks. It connects to global payments. It connects to modern financial messaging. It connects to cross-border payments and upgrades. So when people online say certain coins are ISO 20022 coins, it sounds believable. It sounds like there is some official banking upgrade happening in the background, and that only a handful of crypto assets are allowed in or have been approved or even certified with a stamp of approval. We don't know that to ever exist at this moment. So that is why the myth is powerful. It takes real financial standard and turns it into crypto prophecy. It takes real payment modernization and turns it into like a guaranteed token adoption. And again, we've talked about how ISO 20022 is a messaging standard. It's just standardizing messaging between financial institutes, banks, whatever it may be around the globe. It takes real interoperability, works and turns it into a list of supposed winners. That is the problem. So we're identifying the problem here. The real thing exists, but the online version is heavily distorted. The shift tonight is simple. Shouldn't be hard for you to understand this. We need to separate the standard from the story. ISO 20022 is a real standard for financial messaging. ISO describes it as a multi-part international standard prepared for financial services that provides a common platform for developing messages, including a modeling methodology, and central dictionary of business items and design rules for message format. That is the reality. And so money is sent all over the world. You have all these different types of money. You have all these different governments and, banks and associations, and they need to standardize more and more and more the messaging that says, hey, this is the money. It's going to this place. It's going to that place. That's easy for everybody to read. It helps financial institutions communicate with richer, more structured data. SWIFT, which a lot of people are up in arms about how old and archaic it is, but it works, says ISO 20022 enables richer and more granular data in payment messaging, improves transparency, supports automation, and helps reduce manual intervention. That is the real part. But the myth begins when people jump from banks are adopting ISO 20022 messaging to banks must buy my favorite token. That is a completely different claim, right? And the payoff is once you understand that distinction, the difference between those two things, a lot of crypto narratives become a lot clearer. And this is very much designed because these narratives aren't going to go away. They're going to ramp up again in bear markets, and you got to be able to kind of understand what they're talking about and who you should believe and who you should not believe before you go buy something. That would be a higher crypto IQ in my opinion. What can still say ISO 20022 matters, right? We can still say that. And you can still say that payment-focused crypto projects can care about interoperability. You can still say projects like Ripple, Stellar, XDC, HBAR, Algorand, Quant, and others may try to position themselves around institutional infrastructure because swim with the whales and where the money is going to matter, right? So one thing you really want to do is you don't want to dismiss all of this as if none of this will matter and nobody's going to benefit from large amounts of global money moving across the world if their systems are being used. The problem is the whole guaranteed thing, and there's many different companies, right? We've listed many, right? Which ones are going to benefit the most and which ones may not ever be integrated at all. So try to position themselves around institutional infrastructure, but you cannot honestly say that ISO 20022 certifies this coin or that it guarantees this token will be adopted. ISO 20022 means banks must buy this asset is not fact. And the whole point of crypto fact or fiction is we are not dismissing the real standards. We are exposing the myths that get built on top of truth. You ever know anybody ever say that a good lie has a little bit of truth in it? So that is our exposure and our opening up of the series segment of the night, which of course is ISO 20022, if you haven't heard me say it enough times yet. Struggle Heart says, I love CryptoRank, but it keeps signing me out. Hey, I never signed in. It's magic where you just never sign into it. And then I just have to click out of ads. Very thankful for the ads on CryptoRank constantly every 5 to 6 seconds. All jokes aside. Anyways, here's what's trending. Venice AI. A lot of people who are real crypto people at the conventions, I hear back through the people who I know, they say a lot of people love this product. I haven't actually used it as much as I probably should have, but I know people love this product, so this is what I'm really wanting to scoop under $10. That would be amazing. The Black Bull, how can you ignore it? It is up a lot of percents. What did we just say earlier? Like 74,000% this thing is up. Come on. And it's 0 years old, like it's brand new. Candor Games, I actually opened this on Telegram and never got to do anything with it, so I look forward to messing with it. It's a Telegram game. We're going to come back to these. DYDX native, decentralized exchange. Zero Base, which I've heard about before, but it's only 0.7 years old. We talk about so many new coins all the time that it's kind of like, it's hard to keep them all straight. Some of them really stick in the subconscious here, and some of them don't. Zero Base, I don't exactly remember what it is, but I could infer. Takio, we just did a little bit of a deep dive. Not like a huge intensive deep dive, but we did a small little deep dive, right? And then Global Dollar, it's a stable coin. You have Zerebree, which is CRX. NANA means that there is no actual token generation event, usually abbreviated as TGE when you're reading different text or websites, but there is no TGE yet, token generation event. Then we have some stable coins. Jensen AI, we took a little bit of time to talk about Jensen AI last night. I'll at least read a description for you. A starter, one that we've been kind of watching. Again, no token generation, it's in its funding round. With Crypto Rank, we get to look at a lot of coins, and this is trending, right? So this is not just like every coin that's in a funding round. These are coins that are in funding rounds that are getting a little bit of buzz and search. What is trending is what is being heavily searched, I think very specifically in Crypto Rank, right? And that's why it's so different from, say, CoinGecko. And we get a different insight. K25.ai, another one in its funding round, and adjacent. We will touch on every single one of these. We're just doing the rundown first. Celio, which I know a lot of people like this coin. I've heard people talk about it. I don't really know that I'm real jazzed on it, but that's how it goes. 6.2 years it's been around, so it's been around a long time. That's like ancient in crypto. Fabric Protocol, Robo, we've talked about it many times. AI in your actual automation and factories with real physical robots. Origin Dollar, another stable coin. Paycoin or PCI, been around 5.7 years, had its chance. The graph, I love to see the graph trending, right? Because if you've looked into the graph project at all, and I do own a little bit, right? I'm not trying to shill it, but it does serve a huge infrastructural purpose, and I can't help but see it get integrated at times. Now, problem is, if it gets integrated into a lot of stuff like data feed and stuff, is it actually going to benefit the market cap of the coin? That I don't know. And base. Now, let's get back to the top. Let's start. We don't need to look at Venice AI or the Black Bull, right? We know it's a popular KOL, Pump.Fun, Ansem. It's his name, I'm pretty sure. That's what I gathered from what the Prime Minister was telling me. And he's basically staked his reputation as a good one, so a lot of people are supporting him. If he dumps on everybody, well, that'll ruin his reputation. I don't know. He's at 61, almost 62 million, I assume. I think he owned like 61 or 68% of the supply. So if this thing gets to like 150 million, would you ruin your reputation and walk off into the sunset for 150 something million? I don't know. That always seems very enticing. Who can handle that kind of pressure, right? All right, so let's start with ZeroBase. ZeroBase is a real-time zero-knowledge ZK prover network designed for speed, decentralization, and regulatory compliance. All the kind of right words there, in my opinion. Their backers like YZI Labs is something I love about Crypto Rank. I love to point out the things that make a certain platform valuable to me. Tier 1, Tier 2, venture capitalist, incubator, like they separate them for you. This is a lot of stuff that you would have to rather just ignore and never use to your advantage, or you would never really care about to look up, right? Very few people would go through the measures if they hadn't spelled it out for you, which I think is cool. Now, this thing started off really high, or at least pumped really high on the token generation release, which looks like it's a daily chart, by the way. 17th of October 2025, and it's as high as like 88 cents, and right now you're chilling 14 cents, right? So big fall. I don't know, if you scrunch it up a lot, it kind of looks like a shoulder, head, and shoulder, right? I mean, it's kind of hard to ignore, but with such little data, I wouldn't go stake the farm on it. 34.5 million in its market cap, 233 million all-time high. And let's roll to their website. The cryptographic trust layer for dark pools, layer 3, all kinds of everything. A dark pool is just like a private pool. You don't get to see. Web3 identity, secure financial infrastructure with real-time mathematical proven zero-knowledge circuits. No trust required, just proof. Zero-knowledge proof, I'm a big fan of. Fully homomorphic encryption, I'm a big fan of. What exactly separates them? I'm not a developer, so I'm learning every day. I know what both of them are, but knowing like the super intricates as if you were somebody using it in a protocol or something, that's where I'm still learning, right? We do this as a group. We're learning together. Everything you need to understand ZeroBase. The overview, the white paper. I try to get into some deep stuff without going so deep that I just absolutely completely lose you, which is what I'm threatening to do here with this PDF, right? I was hoping that they would start the PDF with some kind of like, about us, like real specific. It's actually not that in-depth of a PDF compared to some of the things we look at. Delta neutral strategies, generating real yield. I want to do a series. Throw a 111 in the chat if you like this series idea for your crypto IQ raising event. all these different platforms have yield, right? They say stake with us, yield, but how many people take the time to really stop and ask, where is the yield coming from? Is there like a common thing that they're all doing, or are they all vastly doing different things? I would really like to do a series on that. So let me know. I need some feedback from the crowd here. Let me know if that's something that you would be interested in, because I'd like to learn more about the yield. What makes one safer than another? What strategies are safer than other strategies? Be able to identify when certain financials, projects are more risky, or when they're really locked in and they're actually getting their yield from a good place. Is it even common knowledge where the yield's coming from? Are we even allowed to know that? Those are the questions I would like to answer. That seems like some good crypto IQ raising stuff right there. What is going on in this chat? Let me talk about it. Let's see. Mike Joey says, I remember when the guy who took a sandwich and ate it off the calendar. Took a sandwich and ate it off a calendar. Boy, I wish I knew what he was talking about. Mike Joey, let me know what the heck you were talking about. I have been signed in for my watch list and alerts. Okay, so you use it for watch lists and alerts. That's very interesting. I've thought about signing up for CryptoRank many times, but for what I do on the channel, I don't necessarily need it. And I'm not going to upgrade and pay for it, so I'm probably still going to get hit with the ads regardless. This is Cerebree. Hopefully I'm saying it right. I don't know. 1.1 million raised so far. And then I think this is funny. So like sometimes they'll randomly just not show me the backers and try to get you to upgrade. But then like a lot of other times they'll just show it to you. So that's kind of confusing. Healthcare. Hey, XRPH, let's go. It kind of reminds me, the colors and everything kind of remind me of XRPH. Totally different, symbol there, but the same color idea. So Cerebree is a unified AI ecosystem for enterprise, healthcare, and individual intelligence. Now, could healthcare really, really use blockchain technology, AI organization, NFTs for non-fungible things like your personal information from doctor to doctor to make it easy? Like, what if you got on a plane and went to Indonesia, got sick? Wouldn't it be really nice if, like, you had a healthcare wallet and within a couple clicks of a button, a scan of a QR code, those doctors and stuff could know your history, what you've been taking, even in their own language, right? Like, there might be a language barrier, stuff like that. I don't know if I want to be at a hospital in Indonesia, but crazy things can happen if you travel. So Jensen AI, we talked about yesterday. Let's just read the description. Jensen, the network for machine intelligence, is an open infrastructure layer for AI. Now, it hasn't been around a terribly long time, but I do notice that a lot of people seem to like this project or speculate on it highly. It's at 44 million. It's been as high as 110 million. Has backers like Andreessen Horowitz, which we know to be a tier 1 venture capitalist, like Galaxy here. So those might be names you want to think about, look out for. It is a layer 2, by the way. Matter of fact, let's see, what ecosystem is it in? It's a layer 2 coin in its own ecosystem and Ethereum, which makes sense. A lot of layer 2s on Ethereum. I almost want to pull up a crypto rank chart. Let's do this real quick. Sometimes that's the fun of deep diving, is that I can just quickly move to something and take a look at it. So let's look at layer 2. Now, can we niche this into Ethereum? I don't know if we can. Let's see. Oh man, I am just messing this all up. Boy, can't spell worth nothing. Let's go to categories here. No, they don't really have a layer, Ethereum layer 2. It'd probably be under ETH ecosystem, right? Wouldn't that make sense? ETH ecosystem. Make sure we don't click on classic. And then we just scan for our L2s here. Or is it easier to just go to L2s? What I really like CoinGecko for would be its categories, right? So these are just all layer 2s. Most of them are going to be on Ethereum, so this is probably the better way to go about it. Ones you're definitely going to know: Polmatic, Arbitrum, OP Stack. Okay, Starknet is technically a layer 2. I thought it was a layer 1. Lena, Takio, we just went over that. Mega ETH. I already forgot what my question was. I hate when that happens. Oh, Jensen AI. Is that in here? It's by market cap. So what's the market cap? 44 million. I want to get too off in the weeds here. Yeah, we should have already seen it. So very interesting. It should be right here. A star. And they don't have it listed. Okay, we'll just put that in the back of our mind for later. So a starter is an AI economic infrastructure on BNB chain providing computation power, execution, runtime, a decentralized exchange, a launchpad for on-chain AI agents. And we got people like BT Ventures, which I'm pretty sure is Bitmart, AI agent platform, BNB ecosystem, launchpad. Now, when we go to it, I tell you, it's not overly exciting. Or wait. Hey, this is not where they've changed it. This is not where we went last time. They had to have just launched this today. I don't even know what it is. A Core Lite. So what, you're buying some kind of digital access to something? Interesting. That wasn't there yesterday. It was like a little swap, then a launch pad, stuff like that. K25.ai. K25 is a live streaming and real-time prediction market for sports and esports with AI Oracle resolution. So it's prediction markets basically. $6 million in their funding raise so far. Adjacent is an indexing and data platform providing unified APIs, historical price feeds, and custom benchmarks for prediction markets. This is where we learn about new stuff, right? Some of it's going to be highly exciting. This is not going to be exciting to your retail, but it could be good infrastructure. The more you understand it, the more you can take advantage of things like that. CeeLo, Fabric Protocol, the graph-based. I don't know if the other ones are really worth going over. The Graph is a protocol for building decentralized applications quickly on Ethereum and IPFS using GraphQL. And this must be their own proprietary stuff. It's been around for quite some time. You probably know what it is. And then last but not least, Based. Based is a Web3 trading and payment app built on Hyperliquid infrastructure. So it's Hyperliquid infrastructure. It's got backers and funders like Pantera, right? Coinbase Ventures. Those are some good ones. The Spartan Group. See that one a lot. And then even angel investors. Angel investors, to my best understanding, are like individual people investing who are approved, but not necessarily like, you know, a venture capitalist company. All right, and moving right along, we have our top losers, top gainers of the day, kind of compiled in a straightforward place. Refresh it, Meme Core dropped a little bit, up 63%. This Rootstocks infrastructure framework up 32%, Build On up 13%. Top losers, TAC, which has got a lot of pump recently, up 38%. DYDX looks like it gave back pretty much everything that it had gained yesterday. And Humanity can't really afford to be down more, but it is down more. Let's raise that crypto IQ and let's get into the meat of the matter. You might be slightly tired of hearing me say ISO 20022 in a minute here, but that is a messaging standard, not a crypto list. Repetition is the father of learning, and it's the mother of skill. So repetition is something I feel like if you want to raise your crypto IQ or really just raise your IQ across the board, don't be intimidated by hearing similar things. Not the exact same sentence read over and over, but similar things, right? This is the foundation of what we're talking about and what people go crazy about online. So we need to understand the basic foundation. ISO 20022 is not a list of approved crypto coins, right? It is not a secret banking coin index. It is not even a certification for these coins or saying that they're going to win. So they describe themselves straight from their own website, right? as an international standard for financial service messages built around common platform for message development and central dictionary or financial communication items. So when you hear ISO 20022, think payment message structure or infrastructure, data format, financial communication, not guaranteed crypto adoption. Oh, we got a chat here. Check a board. Says, nah, I'll stick with the ISO coins that are scalable and have large companies forcing institution adoption. Best of luck to y'all. And that's how you know some people, they don't even know what we're talking about here. He just jumped in. I don't know if he thinks we're negative against it or positive against it. I don't think he understands that we're trying to be neutral here. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it, right? But we're not saying anything one way or the other. We're trying to get to the facts. ISO 20022 helps financial systems communicate better. The real reason ISO 20022 matters is that the payments are not just about moving money. They're also about moving information. Who is sending it? Who is receiving it? What is the purpose? What invoices or remittance details are attached? What compliance information is still needed? What data does the receiving institution need? Now, we're going to be going deep tonight, so I hope you guys are ready. It's Wednesday. You've got to build up into the groove Monday and Tuesday, so I hope you're with me. The Federal Reserve Financial Service site says that ISO 20022 provides a structured and data-rich common language that can be exchanged among corporations and banking systems, supporting real-time payment processing and reducing manual processing. That is the real value here. Let's say it again for the people in the back. That is really valuable, not myth. Better data, better structure, better automation, and better interoperability. The myth is that better payment messaging does not automatically create a demand for token. We've talked about tokenomics, stuff like that. Struggle Heart says it's already Wednesday. Absolutely, it sure is. It flies by. Okay, so look, checkerboard is still here. I think everybody understands what ISO means, bruh. But it's easier to identify them. I would not say that everybody just knows what ISO means. Like, you're saying everybody just knows ISO is a messaging system that standardizes the global banking infrastructure. I wouldn't say that everybody just knows that. He says, funny how you knew exactly which one I was talking about. Honestly, I am a little lost about what you were talking about. I don't know if you think we're negative against it or if you think we're positive against it. The narrative is for a lot of coins. XDC, Quant, XRP, XLM, HBAR, Algorand. And I'm not even reading that. That's just off the top of the head. I get what you're saying, but it kind of feels like you think we're against it or something. We're just trying to see what we can know 100% as fact that's verifiable, and then anything else from that is rather speculation or myth. I mean, seems pretty simple to me. If you're in crypto and buying them, odds are pretty good, my friend. Hey, I hold XRP. I hold XLM. I hold Algorand. Just to be 100% transparent. I am not anti the narrative. We're just trying to get the facts. Anyways, so online claims is this coin is ISO compliant. Better question would be, is the coin compliant, or can a system run around it using ISO 20022 messaging? Meaning, is the coin itself compliant, or is it capable of running a system on the rails that they built in blockchain? Banks must use this token. You hear this one a lot. Does the bank need the token or the messaging format? This project is the ISO list, right? Which is like a stamp of approval. What official sources are actually saying that? And there is no technical certification. There's just compliance, right? You're rather in compliance with the messaging system or standard, or you're not. ISO 20022 replaces Swift. That's the big one, right? And could it at some point? Maybe, but there's no official document that's saying, hey, that's what we're planning on doing. Is it replacing Swift or just changing messaging formats on Swift, right? Is Swift just getting an upgrade with ISO 20022? ISO guarantees price growth. Of course, we know that nothing is guaranteed in crypto if you haven't seen that. Checkerboard says, okay, fair enough. Solid, man. I appreciate you being here, and I welcome everybody's comments and everything you have to say. I was not in any way trying to shut you down from the conversation either. Swift adopting ISO 20022 does not mean Swift disappears. And this is where a lot of people go quickly, is to like Swift is going to be wiped off the board and we're just going to move over. Old systems or giant systems don't change quickly like that. What you would see is like constant integration until Swift almost doesn't even look like Swift anymore. A major source of confusion is Swift itself. People hear Swift is moving to ISO 20022 and they assume that means Swift is getting replaced by crypto networks. And that's not exactly accurate. This is the type of getting to the specifics that I really wanted to. Swift itself is a messaging network. ISO 20022 is a messaging standard. You see how they go hand in hand. Swift says that the CBPR coexistence period ends on November 22nd, 2025, which is already ended, meaning cross-border payment messaging moved further into ISO 20022 base format. We're really talking about a format. That's really all we're talking about, changing globally. That is a major financial messaging upgrade. That part is reality. That part is true. But it doesn't mean that Swift stops existing all of a sudden, and it doesn't mean that a coin automatically replaces Swift, which is what a lot of people will try to tell you. Now, could it happen over time? Maybe. But that doesn't mean that, and I saw a lot of it. Don't get me wrong. You know you did at some point, if you're in any of these crypto circles and stuff on Twitter and stuff, where they were acting like on November 22nd, 2025, like XRP was going to rip because it was going to be the new backbone of all banking. That wasn't the fact, okay? Reality is that ISO 20022 migration is real and important. Swift adoption, right, this is the myth. ISO 22 does not automatically mean that crypto replaces it. So ISO 20022 compliant coins is kind of the wrong phrase here. All right, we are caught up on the chat. I love that. This is the phrase that causes the most confusion, and I wanted to make sure this was in here. People say XRP is ISO compliant, and then all of these, we don't have to be repetitive like that, are ISO compliant. There's a whole list. We've said them many times. But ISO 20022 itself says cryptocurrencies, this is what ISO, look, this is directly from their website, frequently asked questions. So this is like their official statement on it. Could there be secret stuff going on in the background? Of course there could be, but we got to run in what is actually being forthcoming. So they themselves say cryptocurrencies are not inherently ISO 20022 compliant. They are not managed or registered by ISO 20022. It says that ISO 20022 is a global standard for financial messaging, while cryptocurrencies generally have their own blockchain-specific protocols and messaging formats. So a better wording is not this coin is ISO compliant. Better wording is the project, the company, the wallet, the middleware, payment system, or integration may be able to interface with ISO 20022 messaging. Basically, the blockchain of the project, whether it be XLM, XR, all those coins, is capable of formatting this messaging system that everybody is going to accept as the standard globally in the financial realms. This is a much more accurate claim. Systems can be built to work with the ISO 20022 messaging, but none of that necessarily means that any of these coins are certified for it. So the speculation should be, will they integrate into ISO 20022 messaging? Ripple, let's get to Ripple, right? Because this is one of the main ones. ISO 20022 role is real, but it does not certify XRP the coin. This is where the XRP narrative gets pretty tricky. Ripple says it's part of the ISO 20022 standard body and describes itself as the first member focused on distributed ledger technology. This is legit and actually very bullish. So, you know, for anybody who thought maybe we were getting real bearish on this stuff, I'm not afraid. And again, I want people to know that like one of my biggest bags is XRP, all right? But not because I believe it's going to $50,000. Okay. So anyways, they are a part of the standard body, right? And they are the first member in that body to be focused on distributed ledger technology. It means they have some real pull. They could really make some stuff happen over time. Of course, there's other people on the body that kind of have to agree with them. And this is the real point. It supports the idea that Ripple has cared about financial messaging interoperability, but it does not mean XRP, the token, is officially certified by ISO. That's the distinction. It does not mean that banks are required to buy XRP, although they could. It does not mean Ripple membership automatically translate into XRP price action. This is exactly how the myth grows. A real fact becomes a bigger claim. Let's see. Checkerboard says, you're right. Some tried to make it seem like all of that was going to happen on that date. Yes, they absolutely did. After a decade in, I think we're closer to some of it being reality than ever. 100% agree with you. I 100% agree. But let's get some more on-chain over the short term. Exactly. Me and you are very much on the same idea and wavelength here. Ripple involvement does not equal official XRP certification. That's the myth. The real crypto opportunity is integration, not a magical certification. This is still a real reason crypto projects care about ISO 20022. Like, it hasn't gone away. Plenty of them are still wanting to be a part of this huge money system globally. Payment-focused crypto systems want to connect with banks, institutions, payments, providers, compliance systems, stablecoin issuers, and global financial infrastructure. And in my opinion, not putting a particular time on it, they absolutely will at some point. But who those winners are, we don't know, because we're not there yet. Hindsight is 2020. If a crypto project can speak the same data language and as in a financial institution, that may help integration. Hacken's ISO 20022 explainer makes a useful distinction here. ISO 20022 is not a coin standard, but a data format that helps banks and crypto systems exchange information securely and consistently. We're just bringing another somewhat trusted venue's opinion in here that backs up what we're already saying. That is the real opportunity. Not I found a secret coin list, right? Price claims need more than an ISO 20022 narrative, and that's where people get carried away. This coin is ISO 20022 is a huge hit on price. And we're getting a little repetitive here. I don't want to do that. So we're going to move here. So the honest conclusion is basically what you probably already think I'm going to say. ISO 20022 is real, but ISO coins are mythology. That there is a certified, already pre-put together list and the banks are going to buy those coins and use them. That is not true as far as we know, unless it's an actual secret thing going on that they're not telling anybody. This is the clear takeaway. And we can pretty much leave it at that because I don't want to be repetitive. I think you guys get the point here, and I think it was an awesome segment for our show on a Wednesday. So if you enjoyed that, smash the like button. Took a little bit of time to make sure I had all the information I wanted in that. And let's go take a look at the news. See if there's anything that we really want to talk about. And while we do that, I'll hit some chainers real quick. Because, after all that IQ raising, well, sometimes we just need to cool off with a little bit of gameplay. And we love some DeFi gaming around here. And chainers is pretty cool. I say that for the people who aren't regulars. You know that I like chainers. So far, anyway. Farming a little free BNB. Other people who I trust have told me that they've withdrawn their BNB and stuff off and that it's not very difficult. So I do believe it. I don't have a lot on here, so I'm not stressing it. Let's see. I've got 0.0042 BNB. Not a ton of money. Sugarheart says that was quick. Really? Oh, I'm glad you felt like it was. Yeah, it was kind of quick. You know what's funny is I thought that it was going to be a little bit taxing, especially saying ISO 20022 over and over and over. And I thought it would have people tune out a little bit. But engagement's been great. Viewership's been great. And I think we did it just right without getting too repetitive. Those last two we're going to kind of just reconfirm, and that just is a little bit overkill. So we shaved like a good 5, 6, 7, 10 minutes off of that by not overkilling the topic with saying the same thing. There's a difference between a messaging standard, a cryptocurrency blockchain having the potential and ability to use that format in their system, right? And that automatically meaning that they're the chosen coins and that there's a secret switch that's going to flick and everything's going to move from Swift to XRP or XLM or some combination of them. That part, not necessarily true. And we sold off some items for some B&B. Let's hit the city. And let's hit that Atom Caster, get our free item here. And, if you've been around a while, you know that a lot of projects and finance things, they have a farm. A farm is where you get yield. That's basically what they've gamified here. Sad part is a lot of them say that they've gamified it, and they haven't because there's no game. Chainers really changed that and actually kind of did gamify it. So much respect for that. Ooh, I got some regular fertilizer, which I always need. I wish I didn't have to click it 5 times. We get it. There's 5. Am I impatient, or is that a valid thing to say? Let's go ahead and grab our reward of the day, which I couldn't quite tell what it was. What is it? Oh, it's proto peacock food. It's a part of their doing a 3-year anniversary celebration. That might be over and they're on to the next thing, but that's what the peacock is for that we got in our farm. All right, let's go take a look at today's news. We were just killing time for a minute. Of course, BTC around 60,000. It always gives us this first. We kind of skipped that, right? Bitcoin had its worst month since June 2022. It's fair. Fell about 20% in June. That sounds like some bear market vibes. Getting close to the bottom of bear market vibes. I'm not going to call it as the bottom of the bear market quite yet. Bitcoin opened 2026 with 2 losing quarters, which is historically pretty ugly. Yeah, I think you could pretty much figure that out. Some analysts are watching 48K, 55K. Of course, it gives us a lot of BTC news up front. The news I'm looking for is a little bit more niched and not just Bitcoin's down a little bit or up a little bit. Citi cuts its Bitcoin and Ethereum targets. Citi cuts 12-month Bitcoin target from 112. They've revised their targets. That's what we're saying here. They revised their targets. 12 months, I think. 82,000 BTC. 2,240 ETH. I mean, this is all pretty much based off of how much you think this city knows what the heck they're talking about. US Bitcoin ETF had their worst month ever in June. You know, we normally use Blockworks to take a look at this stuff. Great data over there about ETF inflows, outflows. XRP and Hype funds are rare bright spot while Bitcoin and Ethereum ETFs bleed. And we've looked at that because we have the data on, we're not going to go into it, but here's Blockworks. Go to analytics. You can go to dashboard or you can go to the ETF tracker, either way. And then it's over here, crypto ETFs. And you can even zoom in. You can change from daily to weekly, all of that fun stuff here. And you could just hover over. You're not going to get today's data, right, until tomorrow. So the 30th, you can see right here, XRP, 15 million inflow. The top is inflow. The ones with minuses next to them are outflows. Pretty simple. And you can see that Hype and XRP have consistently, day after day, had good inflows. Hundreds of millions most of the time, where other things are mostly bleeding. And that's basically the story. Cantor says Bitcoin's bear market may be entering its final stretch. Hey, couldn't agree with that more. My opinion, somewhere October, November, December, you're going to see the bottom of the bear market. Strega says news is good. I always think so. And, I don't want to bore you when we pull up the news and just read every day oh, Bitcoin is here and it's down in Q1 and whatever. I'm looking for the more, niched out news. Crypto stocks bounced with Bitcoin. That's worth mentioning. ARK Investments brought more than $75 million in crypto shares during June's bloodbath. So the old saying, buy the blood in the street, even if it's your own blood. And they're talking very specifically about red in the market. Mika is fully live in Europe. This is a lot of different things being said about this, right? So we'll actually read this. Europe's Mika transition period is now officially over. CoinDesk reports that Mika's rollout is creating a split over who wins under the new crypto rules, with regulated firms seeing opportunities while offshore or unlicensed platforms face pressure. What is Mika? It's regulation arm of Europe, specifically towards cryptocurrency. This is one of the biggest regulatory stories today. Europe is no longer just talking about crypto regulation. It is now enforcing full licensing regime. To be honest with you, I think Europe's cooked, and I don't think in 20 years anybody's going to care what Europe says at all. So they can do whatever they want. Mika may reshape Europe's exchange market. It's going to reshape the exchange market, because if you don't have, if you have offshore compliance and stuff, you're just not going to be allowed to operate, most likely, right? It's closing its doors on offshore crypto. Basically, that's what's going on. Taiwan passed sweeping crypto and stablecoin laws. So more laws around crypto. We're seeing it everywhere. Taiwan passed one of Asia's most comprehensive crypto laws, moving virtual asset firms under Financial Supervisory Commission oversight and creating a reserve and trust rules for stablecoins. Decrypt reported the law creates a licensing regime for financial assets, companies, and formal stablecoin requirements. This is a major Asia regulation story. Taiwan is moving from a light touch registration towards a full crypto oversight. In my opinion, these things were always coming. You're going to see it everywhere. Regulators had to take the time to understand it. They didn't have the pressure to move right away. But honestly, as the US puts some of these things down, they're going to do their own stuff, usually in compliance, right? Robinhood chain is now live on public net. So we have the Robinhood launch. Robinhood launched the public mainnet of Robinhood chain and Ethereum's layer 2 built on Arbitrum network. So it's a layer 2 built on Arbitrum technology. Interesting. We were messing with Robinhood chain. We were trying to maybe farm some airdrop. I don't know if that's ever actually going to be a thing. Airdrops are always speculatory. We'll have to check on it in a couple of days. Seems like this just happened. But this right here is the type of news I'm looking for, right? Robinhood's chain, they now have their own blockchain, is now live on public net. It's out of testnet, if you understand how that works. The block reported that eligible users can access 24/7 stocks, token trading, decentralized USDG, lending through Robinhood Earn, perpetual futures, and lighter in selected jurisdictions, and planned agentic crypto trading. Now, I've said this constantly. With your OG crypto people, Robinhood has a bad reputation because they accuse them of shutting down trading and selling and stuff like that around really hot events where people really wanted to sell, and it made people feel like, I hate this platform and I don't want to use it. Them doing a testnet and stuff, I think, was a good opportunity, because who's really going to go after an airdrop? It's going to be some crypto OGs, right? It's going to be some people who probably have been around crypto for a long time. They should have buttered them up with a little bit of money and rewards. Just saying. That's a huge missed opportunity. If they don't do it, they might do it, but I don't know. If they don't give a nice airdrop to people, I think they're missing a huge opportunity, because the truth is they're late to the game, and there's plenty of other options, and most people who are OGs in crypto don't really like the Robinhood brand. Let's be honest. Robinhood is pushing the everything exchange model, just like, Coinbase, Kraken. Oh, look, they literally say that. Coinbase and Kraken, right? Thinking about Robinhood in the same category as Kraken and Coinbase is kind of laughable, in my opinion, but what do I know? Maybe they have huge reserves of things I don't understand, because I don't really care about Robinhood, although I do have an account over there. OpenUSD stablecoin is creating major competition fears. Reuters reported yesterday that consortium including Visa, MasterCard, Coinbase, and other major firms launched OpenUSD, a global dollar-backed stablecoin through open standards. The goal is a freely minted and redeemed business-focused stablecoin with reserve earnings shared among consortium members. This matters because stablecoin competition is heating up, right? And remember, stablecoins make all their money off of fees. It's not like you could buy the coin and get in on the gambit. They kind of all keep it to themselves. OpenUSD could become a serious competitor to USDC and other payment stablecoins if large businesses and payment networks adopt it. Circle shares are under pressure from OpenUSD competition. Again, who is Circle? USDC. They're a stablecoin. That's why Circle shares would matter. I guess people put that together, huh? CoinDesk reported that Jefferies warned against buying the dip in Circle because OpenUSD and other banks and fintech-backed stablecoins could pressure USDC's future growth. I don't know why I can't talk anymore. Maybe it's the talking for almost, an hour and a half straight at 1,000,000 miles an hour. That'll do it to you. I don't really live in the stock world, and I don't really care about Circle personally, so this means nothing to me. But some people would care about this, and they're basically saying, hey, it dipped, but you might not want to buy it because people are coming into their market and they're taking over. That's basically what they're saying. Drop something in the chat if you're still with me. I want to see who's still with me an hour and a half into the stream. Credit Agricole, I don't know what that's supposed to be, launched a Europe stablecoin. This must be like some kind of European company. The EURXT. Again, I don't really care a whole lot about what's going on in Europe as far as their it just doesn't really matter to me because I'm in America. Now, does that mean I won't ever cover a big story or something like that? I mean, of course I will. But I think the days of European dominance in the globe are dwindling. And I don't necessarily think that what they do with regulation and stuff is really the best. It's not. I don't think it's going to be the standard everywhere. I don't think they're setting the standard. And so I don't pay or put a lot of stock in whatever they decide to do, right? And I would never use a European stablecoin personally. Maybe you would, and maybe the stories would matter more to you. If that's you, you could tell me in the chat. Maybe I'll focus a little more on them. Ethereum Institutional launched with major ecosystem backing. So I think this is actually a really interesting story. Telegraph reported that a new nonprofit called Ethereum Institutional launched to accelerate institutional adoption of Ethereum. That is their goal. It is backed by Ethereum co-founder Joe Lubin, Bitmart Immersion Technology, SharpLink, and other major Ethereum-aligned players. Makes sense. It feeds their own interest. The goal The goal is to help banks, asset managers, institutions understand Ethereum through education. They want to educate the banks and the institutions. I think it's a great idea. Let's do it. Research, standards, and events. Cointelegraph said Ethereum still hosts nearly 58% of tokenized real-world assets and roughly half of all stablecoins. Ethereum's still king. That's the takeaway for now. I don't know if anybody's really going to touch them, but for now, they still pretty much have everything as far as all the developers, traffic, especially with the big money that matters. ETH Labs launched during Ethereum's leadership transition. And I was saying this kind of from the get-go. As soon as they were saying they're making all this hype about people leaving Ethereum and the Ethereum Foundation slimming down. And then all of a sudden they were like, ETH Labs is launching. And I was like, oh, these are just people leaving the Ethereum Foundation to go be a part of the ETH Labs. ETH Labs, they just told you, basically, right, that their main focus is to educate institutions. This is not like they wanted to point these stories as if these people were leaving because they were mad with Ethereum Foundation and they were going to start their own thing. They both serve the same thing. All of this builds up Ethereum. And so I don't think that's what it was. I think that they had this as a very specific goal, and they put the people that they wanted, who they thought were well suited from Ethereum Foundation, into these specific roles. That's my opinion. We'll see what it pans out to be. CCP says Europe is the new Middle East. Bingo. That's exactly what I'm saying, and I think Most people are saying like speculation 20 years. I'm saying 10. Europe's, I don't know, not dominance, not reign, but relevance on the global stage, I think is going to be next to zero. So they can kick and scream all they want about Ethereum and this, that, and the other. I don't know that the European ideals have panned out well for them. And they are very much sleeping in the bed that they made for themselves because they allowed all that stuff to happen and they don't want to take accountability for it. But it's not a political show necessarily. So anyways, I think ETH Lab is just a repositioning of leaders inside Ethereum Foundation, moving over to help actually push Ethereum into institutions and banks, which is going to be great if you hold some Ethereum. And right now, it's on sale. Ethereum Foundation published a policy guide for governments and institutions. This sounds like more drumming up for good relations and connections to governments and institutions. SharpLink bought Ethereum for the first time in 2026. I don't know if this is big news, but they bought $16 million worth of ETH, probably because it's a freaking great time to buy some Ethereum. Standard Chartered is bullish on Morpho, which is interesting. It sees the token reaching $60 by 2030. I'm not going to pretend that I know what Morpho's price is off the top of my head because I don't. You know, it would be a great place to, this is a great spot to use the coin perspective. Let's do that. Morpho. We don't really matter what we're matched up to here. We want to say $60. It's a 27x from here. It'd only require $39 billion in market cap. That's not that crazy. Current market cap is $1.4 billion. So, I mean, it's a lot of money, but in a bull market, not crazy. Did they give a time? By 2030. I mean, technically, the next top of the market should be like, what, 2028? Like the end of it, beginning of 2029, if I'm thinking about it correctly. And so, I mean, that kind of lines up. I think they're a year early. I actually think by 2030, you'll be seeing the next leg down into the bottom of a bear market. If I'm thinking about the 4-year cycle correctly, which I'm doing it off the top of the head, I might not be. But anyways, that's a story. Morpho might go to $60. Standard Chartered thinks that they know something that we don't all know. So this would follow the same theme as Aave last week. Okay, it's really funny because I was going to make a connection to Aave. A different bank came out and said, hey, we're really bullish on Aave. We think it's going to go to $3,500 by 2030. Now we have Standard Chartered coming out and saying Morpho is going to go to $60 by 2030. What is this pattern? This seems like the opposite of FUD, you know, like good news. And by 2030, nobody's going to remember that they ever said this. You get my point, hopefully. Wall Street is starting to look at DeFi lending protocols as real financial infrastructure and not just speculative DeFi tokens. Struggerheart says 2030. Hey, 2030 might as well be next year for all I have to say. You know, the funny thing is, like, a lot of people don't want to plan many years in ahead, like 4-year cycle, because they want to get rich in 6 months off a meme coin, but then they never really do because not many people can ever pull that off without serious understanding and timing and a good bit of luck. So then they never plan for anything, and then they get to be 4, 5, 6, 8 years down the line and they've really made nothing happen. And don't, in my opinion, never financial advice, but I wouldn't want that to be you, and I certainly wouldn't want it to be me. You know, you can kind of do both. You can have a 4-year, you can take higher amounts of your money that you're willing to put into the market, in longer term, more likely to return you something good portfolios, and then take a small amount of money and play with meme coins. If you make 100% like the Anson coin did with $100, well, guess what? You got a lot of capital to do something else with, and that's the game. You shouldn't always try to make it all in one shot, in my opinion. Aave had its biggest network growth day in 5 years. Now, I told you somebody who I know who's pretty good and pretty big and pretty good in crypto. They say look for Aave. When you see Aave start making moves, that's when things, you know, are not far from flipping. But they also think long term, so they're not thinking a week. You see the news, and in a week we're pumping. You know what I mean? It's like see Aave start to really get some bullish stuff around it and start to move, and then all of a sudden, a couple months down the line, we kind of in the bear market and we start really going somewhere, and you continue to see things happening good for Aave. There's a reason for that, and I don't want to spend a ton of time on it right this second, but it's good to know and think about. Tokenized Google stock suffered a massive DeFi lending exploit. I would say get ready, because you're going to see lots of this type of stuff as tokenization of assets come in. Some of it may be real. Some of it may be just old TradFi people trying to slow it down or destroy it before it can get up off the ground by scaring people into buying it. Who knows, right? CoinDesk's latest July 1st news list flagged rare DeFi lending exploits where tokenized Google stocks inflated by 7,700%. I don't know if that's the worst thing. I mean, it went up 7,700%. I hope they got to sell off in that time. This is a major warning for tokenized stock markets. Tokenized equities are huge narratives, but if price or Oracle systems fail, DeFi lending markets can be exploited very quickly. Securitize says DeFi can break Wall Street stock lending. Okay, Forward Industries expand its Solana treasury. So we have like Michael Saylor for Bitcoin. We have Tommy Lee for ETH. And then what is this? Forward Industries for Solana. Are they going to be the Solana coin? I'm going to start a company. We're just going to buy nothing but Dogecoin. And we're just the whole point will be to pump our own bags, right? Just to be like, Dogecoin's going to be great. We're buying another $100 million worth of Dogecoin. And people are like, oh, crap. Look how cheap it is. We need to buy some Dogecoin. It's 8 cents. It's 7. You see what I'm saying? And I'm not saying that's what they're doing, but I just thought it was a hilarious thought. Solana-based prediction market app launched on Phantom. And I'm not going to lie, it's about all I can read. My voice is giving out. And man, I don't know if it was the workout before the stream or the 3.5 hours of walking I did today, but it is slapping me all in the face at one time. Maybe it's the extreme caffeine crash. I don't know. But let's play our game for our free item. I believe they're NFTs. I think this stuff is actually minted on chain, but I've never really dug into it. Sometimes when you get something on here, it says minting on chain. And I don't know if that's like tongue-in-cheek, just something they say, like when something says loading, or if it actually is minted on chain. You know, on certain games, it'll say loading, but instead of saying like loading, it'll just say something crazy. It'll be like going to the bank to get your money. I don't know if they're serious about minting on chain or if they just kind of say that because it's DeFi, it's crypto. Neither here nor there for most people. But this is usually how we switch into the underground hangout segment of the night. What do you guys think of the series? I know I've asked a couple of times, but feel free. I just want people to feel free to talk openly about whatever they're into or whatever they're not feeling confident about in whatever in crypto. We're here for you. We're the underground crypto family. We're going to keep it that way best we can, even as we grow. At some point, it may be slightly difficult to do, but we're going to try. Strike a Heart says, thanks again. I've been tired out all week. I feel you. I have weeks like that where like every day I'm just like, why am I exhausted? I haven't done anything. And you know what's crazy about that? It's always the weeks where I've done a little less working out and physical stuff. That's when I feel tired. And then like, even though I'm tired, I'll still go to the gym, and then I'll come home and have a ton of energy. It's almost like energy makes energy, and not using energy makes you have less energy. Is that how that works? I don't know. I'm not a doctor. I might play one on TV, but I'm not actually a doctor. Oh, man. Did I mention that it's all hitting me at once? I hope you guys have a great night, and I hope you guys have had a good Wednesday. Congratulations. The hump day is over, and we can be excited about Thursday. But I would highly encourage you to not get in the mind state of thank God it's Friday. Because a lot of the books I'm reading and stuff really emphasize that that's maybe not the best mentality. Just, I'll leave that there as is, right? I won't try to go deep into that. Just bounce from like one TNT to another. Oh, I just remembered we got to get to 7,000. I forgot about that. You only get to play this once a day. It's not like you can just keep playing it and getting a free item. You can play it once every 24 hours, or they want you to pay like 20 CFB, which I'm not doing. I need that stuff for merging things together. Anyways, one of the things in the like anniversary event they have going on is to hit 7,000, which once you get this game started is like really not that hard to do. Once you kind of get on a run here. Hit that TNT would be good. It's a little hard for me to look at the chat while I'm doing this, but I'll admit it's a nice come down from all of that reading and all that exercise in the muscle in your skull. And as I always talk about, one thing I'd like this community to just at least embrace, in a perfect world, would be a lot of personal development. Because I feel like a lot of people come into crypto and they want to change their life through this crypto space, this financial means. And then I feel like it translates very well. And the truth is, in order to achieve a lot of that, it's also very much about becoming the version of yourself that you never really thought you could really pull off, right? The well put together, disciplined person, whatever that may be for you, because we all lack in different categories. So I'm really big into a lot of the personal development stuff. And I think it's good to uplift people and just share what's worked for you. You know, did you for years wish that you could go to the gym and, really have discipline? Like for me, it's not so much about having ginormous muscles and a six-pack on the beach. It's more like knowing that I'm the disciplined person who can do the things that are hard that I don't want to do a lot of the time, even when I don't want to do it, because I know that is like the standard for success. And it could be why I started this show. A big part of it is to come here and do crypto research, hour and a half, 2 hours every day, hold myself accountable. I do it on Sundays, just so everybody knows. It's an everyday thing for me. It's just a little bit different on Sundays. And basically, make myself do what is maybe sometimes not the funnest thing to do without a community, without a support group, which is why I'm glad I started this channel, because I was going to do this stuff anyways. Now I got people to talk to and talk with about the things that we find. Makes a big difference to keep going. And that can be said for every category too, like finding a support group, finding people with similar ideas, finding people who want to better themselves. These things can make a big difference if you have real goals and you're serious about them. They can make a big difference and go a long way, and sometimes mean achieving stuff versus not achieving stuff. Always want to encourage everybody to dream big and go after those goals. As I always say, you only get so much time here. Even if you think you're getting the full onslaught of whatever it is, 120 years, 100 years, that's short. And I don't want to look back with a whole bunch of regrets, so I prefer to take the riskier, more big dream path in life here, which is why I'm on YouTube. It would be easy to not do that and not have to be disciplined and not have anybody going, hey, where you at? You didn't stream today. It's weird. You always stream. And we did it. We finally hit 7,000. I wasn't planning on doing that, but at least I'll hit that milestone for the event. Yeah, Detai Stu said pre-workout, post-stream crash. Exactly. But hey, what really matters is I went and I did it. Even if it was a little tight in my schedule, still made it happen. It's been hot AF here, feeling beat up from it. Thanks, bro, for the stream. You're absolutely welcome. I live in Florida where it is very hot. But I guess anywhere tropical it's hot this time of year. But I feel you. I love that we've had 15 people stick with us all the way to the end, even the hangout section of the night. That's pretty awesome. Hit one roller coin, and then I'm probably gonna roll out of here as we roll into 2 hours of streaming. You know, your boy shows up prepared with something to say 6 days a week. And as soon as this thing takes off and we get a little more bull run and all that jazz, some money flows in from the channel, I'll be able to do 7 days a week and a heck of a lot more content. So I greatly look forward to it. I know it's coming, whether it's 6 months, a year out, 2 years out, whatever it is. I'm not going anywhere because I still have to raise my crypto IQ every day. I can't let my education slip. Jim Rohn often says, you know, formal education will make you a living. Self-education will make you wealthy. And it's not about money. It's about what you get from the money. The freedom, time to spend with your kids or wife if you don't plan on having kids or don't have kids, you know. The ability to say, hey, I want to go check out, you know, this country, that country, do this thing. It's those type of things that motivate me. And more than any of that, to be honest, what motivates me about money is being able to take care of my people, my day ones who have always held me down. Those are the people who I really want to get wealthy for and help them be the best version of themselves as well, all my brethren. All right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and hop off. Showing up is half the battle. Absolutely it is. And there are days, of course, I'm exhausted and I don't want to stream. And then I start streaming and I'm like, oh, yeah, I love this. I'm so glad I do this every day. I never get off the stream and think, man, that was a waste of time. I didn't really want to do that, and I didn't, never like that. So that's how I know I got the ability to keep going in this space. 7 days a week, voice gonna have a fit. Yeah, and anybody who does stream and talk a lot like that will tell you your voice just gets tired. I just went through being sick a couple of weeks ago, which I get sick like once every like 2.5, 3 years. But I quit smoking. So the nicotine, all of a sudden you get sick. I swear nicotine helps you from getting sick. Anyways, my point is, my voice still a little bit more weak than it normally is. Detai Stu says, that's the sign on the outside of the gym's front door. Okay. Pre-workout, post-stream crash. Have a good night, everybody. Stay underground, stay crypto. Join that free Discord. Ask some questions. Tell us about how you got into crypto and what you want to hear more about on the channel. I'd love to know. You can always, at me so you make sure I see it. And think long term. I'll catch you in the next one, which is tomorrow, 8:30 New York PM time. We're going to get together and do it again. Underground Crypto out.